Hi, welcome to Threshold Animation Studios, home of Foodfight. I'm Larry Kasanoff, the director of Foodfight and one of the film's producer. Since not everyone can make it down to our Santa Monica headquarters, we thought we'd show you how we're making one of the most complex animated movies in history. Through a revolutionary technology alliance that Threshold has formed with the largest computer company in the world, IBM, we have been able to improve the animation process, reduce our cost of production, and provide more creative control to me, the director, our producers, and our performers as well. With IBM, we have done an extraordinary amount of research and development. This has allowed us to create a unique way to make our movies that, most importantly, are of the highest creative quality.
This is CNN.
Now an up-and-coming Hollywood studio is partnering with IBM to give animated movies a makeover.
We're huge fans of Pixar. I think they do an amazing job, but we have to think to ourselves, well, how can we go out and try and do something different?
Threshold's answer? Do it with the backing of an unlikely Hollywood partner, IBM. The deal uses IBM technology to help speed up the animation process and make it more real-time. It's allowed the company to create a complex digital world with over 100 characters, nearly 200 sets, and tens of thousands of extras.
The production of Foodfight involves a number of steps, or layers as we like to call them. The first layer is the production design phase, defining the look and the feel of the movie and the characters. That stage has long ago been complete, and I'm sure most of you by now have seen the 2D art from that stage. The next layer is the modeling of the principal characters in 3D. That's now complete. From that, we move on to the modeling and the building of all of our sets. We then begin principal animation, then a layer of secondary animation, a layer of facial animation, and finally, texturing and lighting to finish the film. A lot of this work is already complete, and as I take you through this process, you'll see how the layers come together. In this step-by-step look at the making of Foodfight, a lot of the early material you will see will be grayscale, or shaded without a lot of colors or textures. The texturing, or the process in which we paint a building, or give a character his fur, or make a wall look like brick, or make a jacket look like leather, is the last layer that we do, because we already know what everything is supposed to look like from our initial design phase. Let me show you how it's done. Foodfight contains over 130 different original characters. To date, we've modeled the entire cast, including thousands and thousands of extras. After the character is modeled in 3D, we then rig it or apply a skeleton-like structure inside of it so the animators can control it. After the model is built and rigged, it is ready for animation. This production layer has been completed. The set construction on Foodfight was an epic task. There are over 300 locations that make up the entire supermarket, and because each and every building is unique, it had to be constructed from scratch. To date, Threshold has modeled the entire supermarket at night, a marketropolis of over 340 locations. Every individual building has been built in 3D to exacting details, right down to the marquee on Raisin City Music Hall or the giant Chinese dragons on Fu Manchu's pagoda. What's more important to note, however, is that we did a tremendous amount of research and development with IBM so we could actually build the entire city in 3D. We didn't just build the flats or the facade of the actual building, we built the city. This way, we can move the camera or characters anywhere we want. We can fly over rooftops, down streets, and around corners, all because we have taken the extra time to build the Marketropolis in complete 3D. In addition to the exteriors, we also built all of our interiors completely in 3D. For example, we didn't just build the Copa Banana stage, we built the entire nightclub. We didn't just build Lady X's War Room platform, we built the whole factory, and the same is true for Dr. Cy Neustrich's lab and all of the other. The reason is simple: more creative freedom and flexibility. This production layer has been completed. All of the main characters are animated in the principal animation layer. To bring our stars to life, we use a technology called motion capture. Again, with the help of our friends at IBM, we have spent a tremendous amount of time pioneering a groundbreaking new motion capture process that allows me, the film's director, to be able to work with our characters and the animation as if I were in a live-action movie. This has never been done before. And like a live-action movie, the first thing we do is rehearse with the actors to work on blocking, timing, and giving the actors an understanding of where things are supposed to be in the set around them. For Foodfight, we specifically hired Broadway actors to perform the motion capture because they are more exaggerated in their motion, they are playing to the back row, and therefore are more cartoony. For example, Broadway star Holly Cruikshank, who plays Lady X, can simply move in a more seductive way and dance far better than I could ever hope to animate by hand. In motion capture, I get the exact animation I want, better than I could ever do it any other way. I'm now going to take you through how a scene comes together. The scene we're working on is Dex and Lady X's tango scene in her apartment. As I mentioned, the first thing we do is rehearse with the actors until we get the exact timing of the scene right. With the dance sequence, it is important to make sure that the actors are hitting their marks, and therefore the timing of their motion is critical. Our actors put on their motion capture suits, and we move on to the stage where we record their actual performance. Like the rehearsals, I can direct the actors just as if I were on a live-action shoot, but I can also see what my animated characters are supposed to be doing in real time, just as you're experiencing on the split screen. Within hours after the motion capture shoot, we get the motion data back and attach it to the models of our animated characters. Our animators then generate what we call play blasts of the performances we captured that day, and then we pick the best performances and put it together as one master shot. But here's the amazing thing. Instead of one master shot from one angle, as you might have in a live-action movie, this master shot exists in 3D space in the computer, allowing us to move the camera anywhere we want to at any point during the shot. It's like having an unlimited amount of dailies and coverage of a scene. If I want to move the camera up, I can move it up. The left, I can move it to the left. To the right, to the right. If I want to do a helicopter shot, no problem. If I want to change to a close-up, it's all just a push of a key on a keyboard. Within just a few days of shooting the motion capture, we are looking at a rough cut of the scene, actually animated. The primary animation layer is now mostly completed.
Let me be really clear about this because it's very, very, very unusual. Most animated movies historically, whether done on a computer or done in pencil, lay out one angle and one shot. You draw the angle, you draw the shot, you only build the background for the angle, you only build the character to that shot, that's what you do. You work on it for 3-4 years. If you want to change that shot one day, you're out of luck. That's not what we do.
Since we build all of our sets in complete 3D and capture the entire performance of our actors with motion capture, we can make changes anywhere we want throughout the process because we have all of the data from any camera angle we want at any time. In Foodfight, secondary animation refers to the more traditionally cartoon-like supporting cast members of the film. These characters aren't shaped like humans and therefore move differently. Traditionally, secondary animation has been keyframed animated. An artist, using a computer, would pose the individual or key frames of the character's movement by hand, trying to mimic the movements of a cartoony penguin or a dancing elephant. This has always been a very time-consuming, tedious, and sometimes trial-by-error task. Well, no more. Threshold Animation, along with IBM and others, has successfully developed a revolutionary motion capture technique to create this kind of animation. Let's take a character like Polar Penguin, for example. In the past, he would have to be hand or keyframe animated because no human has the same bone structure and shape as a penguin. We were able to create a specially rigged computer model that would move the way we want an animated penguin to move, all based on motions coming from a human being. On set, I can see the actor performing the motion capture and also simultaneously view the cartoon character's movements projected onto a screen behind the actor. In other words, I can direct in real time a cartoon character. What's even more incredible, I can then look through an eyepiece on the set and see where the animated character is placed in his environment. I can, quote, walk around in the cartoon set of Foodfight with a virtual camera, framing Dex and Dan and the rest of the cast for any shot. Previously, these kind of shots would take up to 6 months each, with animators laboriously trying to mimic a tap-dancing penguin, for example. Now, I can shoot this shot with precise control in about 15 minutes. And the great news, it's better. Secondary animation also covers what we call in animation terms squash and stretch gags. Squash and stretch is a term used to describe animation that is more elastic in nature, giving a character the ability to act kind of like a rubber band, or giving them really funny and exaggerated expressions, like when the eyes bulge out of a character's head or a jaw drops to the floor when the gorgeous Lady X walks by. These classical animation gags also include characters getting flattened by anvils and manhole covers or getting hit by a train or bus when they least expect it. We handle these animations like visual effects. Lastly, the secondary animation layer involves background action. This includes thousands of extras, hundreds of vehicles, and the giant war machine that Brand X has built in order to help them take over the store. It also includes background action comedy that we might pepper behind the principal animation in a scene. For example, when Polar Penguin sees the gorgeous Lady X, he gets shot off a ceiling fan and goes whizzing behind her as she enters the Coba Banana. We are currently in production on this layer. To let our actors give the most realistic and natural performance, we helped develop the revolutionary facial animation capture system. We use a high-definition camera to record our actors' performances, like Eva Longoria or Wayne Brady. This unique process requires no markers and no performance limitations for the talent. The video is then fed into a software program that actually tracks the movements of the face of our actors. When an eye moves on the actor, the eye moves on the 3D model of our animated character, to whatever degree we want. So if it should be more cartoony, the eye opens bigger. If we want it more subtle, the eye opens less. This allows for rapid and efficient application of facial animation to characters in every scene. More importantly, it allows us to translate the talents of our actors directly onto our animated characters. We are currently in production on our facial animation. Threshold Animation Studios has produced visual effects and animation for over 100 projects in Hollywood, including the completely photorealistic 4D Star Trek Borg Invasion ride for Paramount and the Las Vegas Hilton Hotel. We also created photoreal visual effects on movies like Spider-Man 2 for Sony and Win a Date with Tad Hamilton for DreamWorks. We also produced and animated Hershey's Really Big 3D show for the Hershey theme park at their headquarters in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and Edward Fuddwupper Fib Big for Nickelodeon. Whether for Sony, Disney, DreamWorks, or any of the other studios or networks we work with, we can create textures in any level of detail that we want. They can be extremely photorealistic or very cartoony, but it is the last layer we do. And although texturing and lighting is certainly an important step, it's one we've done 100+ times in the past. On Foodfight, you see a tremendous amount of detail the closer you get to an object. For example, the closer you get to Dex's leather coat, you'll see there's even a name tag on the neck. Or look at the model of the building of Kung Tofu's again, and now see what it looks like with Kung Tofu in front of it. Look closely and you can see the individual scales on his belly and even the incense in the background. From the wireframe to shaded models to sample textured and lit Italian foods aisle, you can start to see what this movie is really going to look like. Even most of the textures we're showing you now are not final. We begin the texturing layer this summer. In addition to all the technological breakthroughs we made with the help of IBM, one last thing to mention is our rendering capacity. On site, we have nearly 1,100 processors for internal rendering. Off-site, in New York, we are connected via fiber optics to 40,000 processors at IBM's On-Demand Render Center. We are the first and only animation studio in the world to be powered by 40,000 remote IBM servers. This is such a technological achievement, IBM sponsored a national ad campaign in the United States earlier this year to talk about it, taking out full-page ads in publications like Time and Fortune. We are even included in IBM's annual report. Foodfight is an extraordinary film. We figured out how to revolutionize the animation process by working with the biggest and best computer company in the world, IBM. We have some of the best marketing partners in the world in Procter & Gamble, Hormel, Cadbury Schweppes, Energizer, and more. Lionsgate, our domestic studio, releases the movie with over $100 million in marketing in April of 2007. But most of all, we're proud of the creative work we are and continue to do in this movie. It is fantastic, fun, and a big cartoon with a lot of heart. We're very proud of it, and thanks for letting us share it with you.